Hi friends, let us study about test planning and design. So prepare prepare the test planning is the first initial process of the test execution one. So in your testing, initially, I must say, you have to prepare a test plan document. So what is the concept of test plan? Why you need test plan? You can directly start with system testing, functional testing, integration testing, then you have automation testing, and then you have studied lots of testing like functional testing, non-functional testing, and so on. So what is the purpose? So testing like any project should be driven by a plan. So that test plan acts as the anchor for the execution, tracking and reporting for the entire testing project and covers. Then the purpose of this system test planning or test planning is to get ready and organized for your test execution. So it has a framework. It is under one umbrella activities. It follows some umbrella activities like scope, detail of resources needed, then your effort required, schedule of activities and budget. Of course, the budget and the scope, the entire thing is every time this you will encounter this term in your developing, in your testing, in your design, in your architecture, and so on. Now, during this test design phase, the system requirements are critically studied. So, the system requirements like what was the requirements of the customer, not that. Initially, how the code works and what was the code expected. So the system features to be studied thoroughly, identified, and these objectives of these test cases and the detailed behavior are defined. So each test case is designed as a combination of test modular components. So that is called a test steps. So this test steps is how it has been derived. It has been derived from your test case, which is designed as the combination of other modular test components. So now this test step can be combined together to create more complex and multi-step because you don't have to work on initial. Now your test will getting bigger and bigger, complex and little difficult. So this test case is clearly specified so that others can easily borrow or understand and use. This test case is a template one. So in case if testing team A is working on some test cases which have multiple, like it's a complex one and they're working on the test steps, so testing team B can borrow and understand and they can reuse it, nothing harm, but you have to change your work, don't copy the work exactly. Then you have in a test driven approach in the programming, like the programmer design and implement test cases before the production code is written. That means the design, your programmer design, like the code, the pseudocode, the algorithm, and the implementation of these test cases before the code is written is matched. And this is initial process of your agile software development, and that is in the extreme programming if you are studying in your software engineering. So the main characteristics of this agile software development process are incremental development first and foremost they use. Then the use of coding of unit and acceptance tests conducted by the programmers along with the customer. So your customers are also of technical background so that they could understand what we are talking and what they want to say in a technical way. Like if they say I want this to be built in Java, you can use SDK or you can use some other Java apps also, APIs. So this communication can lead to that whatever is expected by a customer can be built up. So without any miscommunication can happen if that person is saying API, he's meant something API of different application, like he's saying of exe files or some link files or DLL files, and I'm thinking of some Java files, of course. So there could be a miscommunication or some misunderstanding cost. So that is irrelevant now. So now what happens is Agile is based on incremental development, your coding of tests, unit tests, and acceptance tests conducted by programmer with the help of the customer, right? Frequent regression testing, of course, this changes and the regression happens. Then written test code, one test cases before the actual code is written. So this nowadays the agile process is being carried on. So we are talking the entire test planning is talking about agile because in simpler way it is like making the test cases is execution, it's analyzed, then it's measured, then it's given to executives. It was like a standard one, but now in recently we have been using like XP, so we are talking about how the test planning and designing carried on in XP. So the next topic will see test case specification next session. Till then, read well.